the amazing Rando!
Watch Rando the Great construct sets with his very mind!
What's up, rascals? Rando here. And I was just thinking to myself, because I'm usually alone in the house, and when I'm not, there's no one that really wants to hear my thoughts. There's been a slight interest in getting to know me a little bit better, and I'm not really one to try and hide anything about myself. Well, anyway, I figured doing a personality test would be completely normal and not creepy in any way. Maybe, I don't know. But I kind of thought that this might give you guys a little bit of insight into something you may or may not want to know. Like why I act the way I do, or how I act. Or if this is an act, maybe I'm just bonkers. I should probably get started on the... Yeah. It's a free personality test. Let's see what kind of personality I've got, if I have one at all. I've got one, I think. It's somewhere around here. You find it difficult to introduce yourself to other people. Yes, actually. You often get so lost in thoughts you ignore or forget your surroundings. Not really. I mean, I get lost in thoughts a lot. I mean, you've probably seen it in some of my Let's Plays. I'll just start rambling and then suddenly I'll be like, what was I talking about? But no, I'm actually very aware of what's going on around me. I kind of have to be, especially at work. You try to respond to your emails as soon as possible and cannot stand a messy inbox. I kind of have to disagree a little bit. I do like to check my emails as soon as possible, but not always. I will check that they're there. That doesn't sound quite accurate. Sometimes I'm actually too nervous to open it right away, and I'll just let it sit there and be like, okay, just get it over with and see. It's opening an email sometimes is like ripping off a band-aid. I don't know why. You find it easy to stay relaxed even when there is some pressure. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and say somewhat disagree. You do not usually initiate conversations. That is definitely a strongly agree. I will more than likely just wait for someone else to engage me because I am so freaking awkward in conversations, especially if I'm trying to start one. You rarely do something just out of sheer curiosity. I'm gonna go ahead and disagree on that one. Why, you ask? Well, you're kind of watching one of the things that I tried just out of sheer curiosity. And you see where it's gotten me. Some would say not fair. I was trying to say far. I don't know why I ate my... Anyway, you feel superior to other people. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to disagree on that one. Being organized is more important to you than being adaptable. Here's the thing about that. Yeah, I try to be organized, but it's kind of hit and miss most of the time. But I do like being able to... I don't know how to answer this one! I'm gonna go ahead and say that because more often than not, I am not that organized, but I try to be. More often than not, I do have to be able to go with the flow on a lot of shit that I have to do. So, you are usually highly motivated and energetic. I would love it if that were the case, but sometimes it's just hard to stay motivated and energetic. Oh, you're finding me at a good spot right now, but most of the time, like that. Winning a debate matters less to you than making sure no one gets upset. That's kind of true. Also, I suck at debate. You often feel as if you have to justify yourself to others. I don't really actually try and justify myself to others, but I feel like on certain occasions that you give me a certain look and I feel like you're judging me so hard, right? But that might not even be the case, but that's just the way I'm thinking, because I'm a paranoid little turd. But, yeah, so... Your home and work environments are quite tidy. I wish. I really wish they were. But, not so much. You do not mind being the center of attention. It depends. I mean, you'd think that I would love it, and I'd crave it, actually. But, how do I answer this one? Skaboosh. You consider yourself more practical than creative. Yeah. I mean, I should probably tone that down a little bit. I feel like my creativity could be a little bit higher, but I am definitely not that practical. People can rarely upset you. Yeah, I'd say that's kind of true. I mean, there's times where people will deliberately try and get under your skin, and sometimes I am susceptible to that. Everyone is. But I try to be kind of like, I try to let it slide, you know? Just, I don't know. Your travel plans are usually well thought out. I try. It is often difficult for you to relate to other people's feelings. Agree. Your mood can change very quickly. Yeah, it kind of can. Sometimes for the good, sometimes for not so good. I'm an emotional train wreck. In a discussion, truth should be more important than people's sensitivities. You rarely worry about how your actions affect other people. I'm going to go ahead and disagree on that one slightly. Sometimes things just aren't going to go the way you plan, and that's just a part of life. But for the most part, I do try and consider that kind of thing. I don't know. Your work style is closer to random energy spikes than to a methodical and organized approach. I'm gonna go ahead and agree on that one because that is kind of how it goes. You are often envious of others. As much as I hate to admit it, I actually really am. It's not something I'm proud of, like I said. But I have to acknowledge it because it is there. I get extremely envious of people sometimes, and I wish that weren't the case. What are you gonna do? An interesting book or video game is often better than a social event. Being able to develop a plan and stick to it is the most important part of every project. I would agree with that statement. Can't say that I put that into practice a lot, but I can definitely agree with the statement. You rarely get carried away by fantasies and ideas. I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree a little bit on that one. Illusions of grandeur. You often find yourself lost in thought when you are walking in nature. Well, what else are you gonna do? Stare at an acorn? If someone does not respond to your email quickly, you start worrying if you said something wrong. Not really. Sometimes, like in an instant messenger conversation, I'll think that way about something I just said, but in an email? No, not really. No. As a parent, you would rather see your child grow up kind than smart. Nope, there are enough dumbasses in the world. I'd rather him be kind. Smart. Kind of smart. You do not let other people influence your actions. Most sort of agree, but kind of disagree. 'Cause, shit, that happens. Everyone's susceptible to it to some degree. When you sleep, your dreams tend to focus on the real world and its events. When I'm stressed out, yeah, kind of. So I'm gonna go ahead and slightly agree. It does not take you much time to start getting involved in social activities at your new workplace. True story. I've just recently started acting friendly and social with my coworkers. And I've been working there 3 years. You're more of a natural improviser than a careful planner. Oh, yeah, kind of. Yeah. Man, what can I say? I don't plan very well. I try to, but it doesn't always work out so great. Your emotions control you more than you control them. Not. Sometimes they do, but most of the time, no. It's... Yeah. I pretty much summed it up pretty well just now. You enjoy going to social events that involve dress-up or role-play activities. I don't know. I've only been to the Ren Fair once, but I did like that, except for the headache at the end of the day, but I'm pretty sure that was unrelated. You often spend time exploring unrealistic and impractical yet intriguing ideas. Not often, but sometimes. You would rather improvise than spend time coming up with a detailed plan. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. You are a relatively reserved and quiet person. For the most part, yeah. And I'm honestly kind of sick of that. If you had a business, you would find it very difficult to fire loyal but underperforming employees. I've kind of thought about this, and unfortunately, I have to agree with that. It would probably be pretty difficult. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence. Not often, but it does happen. Logic is usually more important than heart when it comes to making important decisions. It depends on what the important decision is. That's the problem here. Financially, yeah, I will logic the shit out of it as much as I possibly can because I'm not a logistical thinker. But I am susceptible to listening to the heart when trying to make important decisions. Keeping your options open is more important than having a to-do list. I don't have a to-do list. I just do or do not. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. If your friend is sad about something, you're more likely to offer emotional support than suggest ways to deal with the problem. Probably not, because I'm terrible at emotional support. It's not to say that I don't try. You rarely feel insecure. Oh, you have no idea. You kind of have some idea. Moving on. You have no difficulties coming up with the personal timetable and sticking to it. I wish. But the truth is, I'm horrible at it. I'm horrible at schedules. I'm horrible with... I practically need help with maintaining appointments. Being right is more important than being cooperative when it comes to teamwork. I'm gonna go ahead and give that a big fat nope. You think that everyone's views should be respected regardless of whether they are supported by facts or not. That's a slippery slope if I ever read one. You feel more energetic after spending time with a group of people. No, not really. It depends. You frequently misplace your things. I'm gonna slightly disagree with that. You see yourself as a very emotionally stable. No. Your mind is always buzzing with unexplored ideas and plans. Oh, yes. Very much so. I'm trying to work on some plans and ideas and such. You would not call yourself a dreamer. No, I'd kind of call myself a dreamer. Just a little bit. A little bit of a dreamer. You usually find it difficult to relax when talking in front of many people. Kind of, yeah. I do have a little bit of stage fright, which is weird considering that I'm trying to be kind of an entertainer for the masses. I get over it a little, kind of. I'm still always a bundle of nerves, but I can muster through. I can push through. Generally speaking, you rely more on your experience than your imagination. That depends on the context. You worry too much about what other people think. Sometimes. I'll admit that. If the room is full, you stay closer to the walls, avoiding the center. That is very true, and I wish it weren't the case, but it is how I am. I am a wallflower in situations where there's large groups and I don't know many people or anybody. You have a tendency to procrastinate until there is not enough time to do everything. Sadly, that is the case. I do unfortunately procrastinate way more often than I should. And that kind of causes problems. You feel very anxious in stressful situations. I kind of do. It's just a thing that happens. You believe that it is more rewarding to be liked by others than to be powerful. Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, I don't need to be powerful. I'm just trying to make people laugh and have a good time. I don't need to rule over anybody. You've always been interested in unconventional and ambiguous things. Books, art, movies. Yeah, kind of have, yeah. You often take initiative in social situations. Not really, no. I try occasionally, but most times, no, not so much. Alright, time to get the results. What's it gonna show me? What kind of personality? I am a mediator. I'm sorry, what? Nature. This trait determines how we make decisions and cope with emotions. That's interesting that one is the closest to being a 50-50 than anything else. Mediator personalities are true idealists, always looking for the hint of good in even the worst of people and events. Searching for ways to make things better while they may be perceived as calm, reserved, or even shy, mediators have an inner flame and passion that can truly shine. Comprising just 4% of the population, the risk of feeling misunderstood is unfortunately high for the mediator personality type. But when they find like-minded people to spend their time with, the harmony they feel can be a foundation of joy and inspiration. Being a part of the diplomat role group, mediators are guided by their principles rather than by logic, excitement, or practicality. Sentinels? That's a cool title. Why couldn't I get a cool title like that? Instead, I'm just a mediator. I'm one rung above school counselor. Or I might be below, I don't know. When deciding how to move forward, they will look to honor, beauty, morality, and virtue. Mediators are led by the purity of their intent, not rewards or punishments. People who share the mediator personality types are proud of this quality, and rightly so. But not everyone understands the drive behind these feelings, and it can lead to isolation. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. Ooh, philosophical-like. At their best, these qualities enable mediators to communicate deeply with others, easily speaking in metaphors and parables, and understanding and creating symbols to share their ideas. Fantasy worlds in particular fascinate mediators. More than any other personality type, the strength of their visionary communication style lends itself to creative works, and it comes as no surprise that many famous mediators and are poets, writers, and actors. Understanding themselves and their place in the world is important to mediators, and they explore these ideas by projecting themselves into their work. It gives me the tingles! Mediators' ability with language doesn't stop in their native tongue either. As with most people who share their diplomat personality types, they are considered gifted when it comes to learning a second or third language. Their gift for communication always lends itself to mediators' desire for harmony, a recurring theme with diplomats, and helps them to move forward as they find their calling. That is oddly specific and kind of interesting that it does say that because I have at one point or another tried to learn other languages. It's not that it's difficult for me, it's just that I kind of lost focus on it and I just let it slide. However, 日本語がわかります。でも上手じゃありません。Unlike their extroverted cousins, though, mediators will focus their attention on just a few people. A single worthy cause, spread too thinly, they'll run out of energy, and even become dejected and overwhelmed by all the bad in the world that they can't fix. If they are not careful, mediators can lose themselves in their quest for good and neglect the day-to-day upkeep that life demands. Mediators often drift into deep thought, enjoying contemplating and hypothetical and the philosophical more than any other personality type. Left unchecked, mediators will start to lose touch, withdrawing into hermit mode, and it can take a great deal of energy from their friends or partners to bring them back to the real world. Luckily, like the flowers in spring, mediators' affection, creativity, altruism, and idealism will always come back, rewarding them and those they love, perhaps not with logic and utility, but with a worldview that inspires compassion, kindness, and beauty wherever they go. That gives me the warm fuzzies! Mediators' friends and loved ones will come to admire and depend on them for their optimism, their unshaken belief that all people are inherently good, perhaps simply misunderstood, lends itself to an incredibly resilient attitude in the face of hardship. People with the mediator personality type have no interest in having power over others. It's true, I don't. I don't want to be the kind of person that controls other people, and don't much care for domineering attitudes at all. They prefer a more democratic approach and work hard to ensure that every voice and perspective is heard. A live and let live attitude comes naturally to mediators, and they dislike being constrained by rules. Mediators give the benefit of the doubt too, and so long as their principles and ideas are not being challenged, they'll support others' right to do what they think is right. Mediators combine their visionary nature with their open-mindedness to allow them to see things from unconventional perspectives, being able to connect many far-flung dots into a single theme. It's no wonder that many mediators are celebrated poets and authors. When something captures mediators' imagination and speaks to their beliefs, they go all in, dedicating their time, energy, thoughts, and emotions to the project. Their shyness keeps them from the podium, but they are the first to lend a helping hand where it's needed. While others focusing on the challenges of the moment may give up when the going gets tough, mediators, especially assertive ones, have the benefit of the far-reaching vision to help them through. Knowing that what they are doing is meaningful gives people with this personality type a sense of purpose and even courage when it comes to accomplishing something they believe in. Mediators often take their idealism too far, setting themselves up for disappointment as, again and again, evil things happen in this world. This is true on a personal level too, as mediators may not just idealize their partners, but idolize them, forgetting that no one is perfect. Mediators sometimes see themselves as selfish, but only because they want to give so much more than they are able to. This becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy as they try to push themselves to commit it to a chosen cause or person, forgetting to take care of the needs of others in their lives, and especially themselves. When something captures mediators' imagination, they can neglect practical matters like day-to-day maintenance and simple pleasures. Sometimes people with the mediator personality type will take this asceticism so far as to neglect eating and drinking as they pursue their passion or cause. Mediators are often so focused on the big picture that they forget the forest is made of individual trees. Mediators are in tune with emotions and morality, and when the facts and data contradict their ideas, it can be a real challenge for them. Mediators often take challenges and criticisms personally, rather than as an inspiration to reassess their positions. Avoiding conflict as much as possible, mediators will put a great deal of time and energy into trying to align their principles and the criticisms into a middle ground that satisfies everybody. Mediators are private, reserved, and self-conscious. This makes them notoriously difficult to get to know, and their need for these qualities contributes to the guilt they often feel for not giving more of themselves to those they care about. Yeah, see, this is why I did this quiz, to give you guys some insight onto what goes on in my head. I have a feeling that this video is going to be pretty long, so I'm going to skip the romantic relationship stuff. But if you guys really want to know about it, I can leave links or something. Let me know if you guys really want to know about the romantic relationship stuff. But, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you liked this and it was informative and all that good gobbledygook. If you did like it, let me know by giving that like button a bop. Leave some comments down below. And check out some other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully, it'll amaze.